Good morning and welcome to our meditation. Here from the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral, Florida, I'm John Coriel, one of the science practitioners here, Science of Mind practitioners at the center. And our theme for the month, according to headquarters, is Facing the Fear. And the weekly theme is something I like a lot: just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. It is said that if it is said that the faith can move mountains, it is the faith itself, or the faith as moved through the faithful being. Ernest Holmes, our founder here, says that faith is a mental attitude that is so convinced of its own idea, that so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. I like that. Committed that to memory some time ago. When faith inspires, we are called into action of some sort. It could be prayer, pastoral care, talking with a minister or a practitioner, service to the community, or other creative action. The point is, when we block, hinder, or are outside of the flow of faith, we stagnate rather than flourish and thrive. Faith without words or works is dead. Faith with works of love, service, and truth, therefore, is life. We'll take these thoughts of faith and some others into prayer as we just gently go forth individually. Faith is the power of prayer. Now, what is faith? When you analyze faith, you find it is a mental attitude against which there is no longer any contradiction in the mind that entertains it. I like that. When you analyze faith, you find that it is a mental attitude against which there is no longer any contradiction in the mind that entertains it. And unfortunately, we find there is a greater faith in fear most often, whether it be a faith in losing material possessions, losing a person's position, a loss of health, or whatever. I have the faith that I can get up here and know that I will be guided to say the perfect right words, thoughts, and ideas with ease and grace. I let go and I let God be God and speak through me. It's an interesting thing when you think about it and think about how there is faith, and sometimes you move forward in getting up here and speaking that you don't even think about it. You just let it go, let it happen. Faith is a mental assertion elevated to the plane of realization. It is beyond the mere quibbling or mumbling of words. Faith is real, to the person, the one who expresses it, and cannot be denied to the mind of the one who has proven it. There is but one mind. It is both the mind of man and the mind of God. One mind. It is the essence of creativeness. What is it that you want to see in your world? Let's give that some thought. action is vital to faith. It is easy to have faith if we sit in a room tucked away from the world, but true faith requires activity in the world. The law of circulation requires inward and outward focused activity. Ernest Holmes argues that when a man's thought rests entirely upon himself, he becomes abnormal and unhappy. But when he gives himself with enthusiasm to any legitimate purpose, losing himself in the thing which he is doing, he becomes normal and happy. Only as much life enters into us as we can conceive, and we conceive of life in the larger sense only when there is complete abandonment to it. To just absolutely let go, open up, allow God to flow through with ease and grace. Let the one who is sad, depressed, or unhappy find altruistic purpose into which he may pour his whole being, and he will find a new inflow of life of which he has never dreamed. That from the Science of Mind textbook. So I guess it gets back to just the thought of let's just do it. Find the faith that we have. As Ernest Holmes has said, that faith is a mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. Wonderful faith that many of us experience and allow faith to flow through us in many ways, in knowing that there are things going on in our life that we have the faith to know that they are unfolding just as they should. Wonderful idea faith is. Just knowing that faith unfolds for us as we believe it to be. I always like that, reminding myself that there is but one mind, and that's the mind of God, which is also my mind. One mind, God's mind. Right here and right now, and we can partake of that at any point in time. Just allowing it to flow in with all of its thoughts, ideas, and directions for us. So we just take this into prayer for a moment, and knowing that that one mind, that God mind, is all there is and is right here where we are, unfolding in a most magnificent and easy way as we open our arms to it, allow it to flow into us. Thoughts, ideas, anything that is needed unfolds in a most magnificent way. So we just get thrilled by that, and it makes me chuckle because it feels so good. Feels so good. So with all of this, we round out our meditation for this morning, and just knowing that that one mind, that God mind, is in, around, and through each and every one of us. Ah, yes. We accept it, we allow it to be, we allow it to flow through, and unfold in most magnificent ways with all of the good that there is for us. For life, God has our back and is for us. Life is for us, and nothing can be against us. So we thank you, thank Spirit, for that wonderful knowledge, for that wonderful knowing, for that wonderful unfolding in an easy way. So we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we can say together, and so it is. Right here and right now.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. That's
Do I need the clicker or is he clicking? Good morning. All right, we're going to jazz the energy up a little bit. So everyone stand with us and we can be one big family today. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. this loving day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This loving, this loving, this loving day. This loving, this loving, this loving day. Thank you.
There we go. Working with this microphone and a mask is not easy, let me tell you what. But that's okay, we'll figure it out. It might be that it's pressed to my face moving forward. In any case, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have an almost full house. We've got more seats to fill, so we got more forms in, so yay. Next week, I know that all the seats will be filled, which is just absolutely fantastic. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. Remember, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. We believe that we are co-creators with the divine and that we can change our lives by doing what? Changing our mind. Yes, it is that simple. It is that simple. Ernest Holmes is the founder and originator of our philosophy, but we study lots of people here. Dan Miguel Ruiz and Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay. There are lots of contemporary people that write about what Ernest Holmes wrote about and have expanded what he already knew so well and taught us so well. And so we study all of that here. Prayer requests, we used to have a prayer request box, and since they're urging us not to use any paper right now, we have a prayer request form. It's up on our website, cslcapecoral.org, and if you're watching at home, perfect opportunity for you, cslcapecoral.org. There is a prayer request button. And if you'd like to stay in touch with us and get our newsletter, make sure to sign the contact form there, and we'll add you to our newsletter list. Now, right now, we have what we call our blessing, our opening blessing. So I'm going to invite all of you to stand up. And you guys at home, do this to each other. And we're going to confer a blessing. Ready? Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you. We love you. And we are thankful you are here. Welcome to the center.
Did you know everybody here is amazing? Don't know if you knew that, but everybody here is pretty amazing. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, that's the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Good. Glasses on here. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Better? Okay. And today, the reading is on Just Do It, on faith and just do it. And, oh my goodness, sorry, this is my first time. My name is Karen Gidley. I am a licensed practitioner here, and today it's my honor to do the reading. And so we go into this, some of these quotations I'd like to read for today that are in today's readings. One is that supporting from the Science of Mind book, we should be careful not to divide our mental house against itself. Having announced the law of liberty, we must not deny it. We shall all know the truth, then ways and means and methods will be found for the freedom of all. The mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite fills all molds and forever flows into the new and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. And that is from the Science of Mind textbook, page 161. There is another one I would like to quote. There is a great difference between defending life and befriending life. Defending life is often about holding on to whatever we have at all costs. Befriending life may require us to take great risks, to let go over and over again, until we finally surrender to life's own dream of itself. And that is by Rachel Naomi Remen in the book My Grandfather's Blessings, Stories of Strength, Refuge, and Belonging, of page 257. And the affirmation I would like to say for today is, today I act in ways that affirm and inherit goodness in all. And I'd like to take this into prayer, knowing that there is one infinite intelligence, one good, one spirit, one life, one love, knowing that I am one with this infinite intelligence. And just as each and every one here is today one with the infinite intelligence. Knowing this, I know that we can just do it. You just go inward into your heart, into that sacred center. Listen to your intuition, knowing that that intuition just takes you into amazing places. Just like the song, it's amazing, you are amazing. All of this we take into a meditation, we take into prayer, and we know that it is Spirit moving through ourselves, moving through each and every one of us. And that this Spirit is nothing but good, and it's nothing but better, and all things for us, not against us. So when you do so with your heart, do it openly and just do it. And with this, I know that this truth I am so grateful for, knowing this and practicing this, and just as each and every one here does. I take this into the divine mind, anchoring it and knowing that it is done, and I ask everyone to repeat after me, and so it is. Okay. Thank you very much. And now Reverend Shell with her message today. Thank you.
You're good. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness. There's so much change going on, isn't there? So much change. Karen, you did great. You did great. First time It's her first time at the microphone. She did some from home. You know, it's different to look at a computer screen and be doing what she just did and look at a group of people and do what she just did. So you did great. Yeah, yeah, you could stop it, re-record it, pause it if you had to cough or whatever, big difference. Cassie, holy smokes, you can see that the Big Love Band, there have been vacations going on with the Big Love Band in the last few weeks. Of all the weeks for them to have planned vacations, the ones that coincide with when we're just opening up. Cassie, thank you for stepping up to the plate this morning. You are doing beautifully. That's hard when you're used to having your amigo John right here next to you, That's really hard. So good for you. You did great. And the band, as always, is fantastic. Gary's going to be out for a few weeks. Hopefully we'll see him sooner than later, but he's going to be out for a few weeks for some training. And John will be back next week, and so it'll be more back to normal next week. Yay, yay. And you guys just carry it anyway, so yay. Thank you. All right, just do it. So this month, the theme for this month has been facing the fear. Isn't that interesting? You know that these themes were written over a year ago, right? Isn't that crazy, the way that they kind of correspond with what's going on? So facing the fear. And in week 1, it was a question of faith. Now, do you remember I told a story about a woman who had disabilities, and she was out walking, and she met this man, and she was talking with him and saying how hard it was for her sometimes to just get on the walk, because he said, "Are you struggling with this walk? It looks like you're struggling." And she said, "Well, the greater struggle is getting me here to take the walk in the first place." You remember? And so what he said to her, "But you showed up." And so she started walking around saying, "Just show up, just show up." And when we're met with a challenge, just show up. That's part of facing fear, isn't it? Just show up, right? The second week, we talked about skepticism, doubt, and fear. And I talked about meeting John Edwards. Do you guys remember? John Edwards was amazing. And as you recall, I said I'm going to approach this with what I call open skepticism. Open skepticism. In other words, I didn't give John any information whatsoever. When he'd ask me questions, I'd say yes or no, because I wanted to make sure he was the real deal. And in my mind, doing that would be no information out of me, and he more than convinced me he was real. And the idea behind that whole long story was, what if we approach things that we think we know how it's going to go with open skepticism instead? I was actually encouraging us to be skeptical, because being skeptical, especially our new definition of skeptical, which means to investigate, if we're investigating, that is far better than being closed off to possibility, right? Skepticism can be a good thing, especially if there is a topic or something that's going on in our life that we've made a decision about. If we can look at that with open skepticism and say, well, maybe it could be different. Maybe it could be better. That's part of, and then with open skepticism, we can release doubt, we can release fear, and move through it. Yes? Okay. Week 3. Do you have faith, or have you been had by faith? And I looked up the definition for being had, and it meant fooled or taken, right? But then we talked about that. You remember the story of the kids going from holding a pole to holding a fishing line in their hand. And they put their faith in that fishing line. In that fishing line. It wasn't happening in them. The faith was in the fishing line. It was the fishing line that had the power, right? So there's faith in God. Faith of God is what I've been referring to all month as the light switch. When we go to the light switch, we have faith that that's going to turn on. And if it doesn't turn on, there's nothing wrong with us. We don't sit on our knees, get on our knees in front of the light switch. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. We know that there's something up with the circuitry and that we need to investigate that. That's faith of God. It's a faith that this God thing is flowing all the time, and that everything that is going on in the manifest world is actually for us. That's faith of God. It's faith of a principle. Yes? Okay. So we've been building our faith muscle all month. We've been taking a look at it from every different angle and looking at it all month. So now we're left with just do it. And John mentioned faith without works is dead. It is one of the quotes that were given to us in the notes from home office. It is a Bible quote. Faith without works is dead. Now, what does that mean? Well, having faith of God, that there is this thing that's going on, that's underneath of everything, through everything, as everything, having that faith and not moving, we're not expressing God then. That is death. That is certainly death. If we feel something emerging and we don't honor that feeling that's emerging, that is death. Sometimes death is slow, sometimes it takes, that is death. So we need to learn to walk in faith, and just do it. You remember that with that Nike thing? I have a Just Do It t-shirt. It's one of my favorites. And when I'm feeling really tired, I get my Just Do It t-shirt out, and I wear my Just Do It t-shirt, and I look at it frequently. Come on, just do it, just do it. So what does walking in faith look like? Well, anybody see my video yesterday? I talked about, I had my Winnie the Pooh shirt on yesterday. I'm a t-shirt person, can you tell? I love t-shirts. And so I had my Winnie the Pooh t-shirt on yesterday. And I have the Tao of Pooh, or at least I thought I had the Tao of Pooh, which is a wonderful book. It explains Taoist principles using Winnie the Pooh stories. And it's just absolutely wonderful. And I went to look for it and I couldn't find it, but I did find the Day of Piglet, which is the follow-up to the Tao of Pooh. And in the Day of Piglet, there is a chapter that's entitled The Eeyore Effect. Now, we all remember Eeyore, yes? Eeyore is the doomy, gloomy one. Thanks for noticing me. And he never has a good thing to say, does Eeyore? But he's actually somewhat of a mystic, really. What the book went on to explain about the Eeyore effect, it said that there is something in each one of us that wants to be unhappy. I know that sounds weird coming from me, doesn't it? But there's a part of us, there's something inside of us that wants to be unhappy for some reason. I'm well acquainted with that voice, the voice of Eeyore that's within. There's something within each one of us that wants to be unhappy. It creates in our imagination problems that don't yet exist. One of my favorite Mary Morrissey quotes. She talks about using your imagination all the time. It's a big thing with Mary, using your imagination. And she said that she's had many, many people saying that they can't imagine, that it's just not something they've ever been able to do. And she said, oh, really? Imagine that your daughter is out in your car. She's 16 years old. It's 2 a.m. and she's not home. I bet you your imagination goes nuts. There was a car crash. There was this. There was that. She said, that's using your imagination in a manner that does not serve us. And this is exactly what this statement means, isn't it? It creates in our imagination problems that don't yet exist. It's when we are using our imagination in a manner that does not serve us. We are here now. We're looking towards the future and imagining doom and gloom. Eeyore effect. It's the part of us that wants to be unhappy, and it does exist, quite often causing them to be true. So let me read this as an entire sentence. It creates in our imaginations problems that do not yet exist, quite often causing them to come true. Now, how does that happen? How do these torrid things in our imagination, how do they come into fruition? Well, if we focus on that, do you think we'll find it? We know that what we put our attention on happens. Real or not, we'll create it because we are creative individuals, and that's what creativity looks like. That's what bringing something into form looks like. We have a thought, we put our attention on it, and we create it. And it may not be real. Now, I know that you know people like this, and it's never happened to you, but hear me out. Have you ever had a relationship with somebody, and they start to annoy you? Okay, no, you're observing others doing this, I know. There's an annoyance. Maybe it's the way they eat their food. Maybe they chew with their mouth open. And now you can't even eat with them. Because all that happens is you hear, you see food, it destroys the experience. Is that necessarily what's going on? No. Is it where you're going to put your attention sometimes? Yes. So what do? We create this experience of annoyance, unpleasant, unhappy. It's a filter. It's a filter. So we go back to the skepticism thing. What if you could be openly skeptical about that and say, well, maybe they don't chew that way. Maybe they actually are very polite eaters. Let me notice the politeness. Totally changes everything around, right? So we cause them to come true by focusing on those thoughts. And we're talking about the negative or unhappy ones right now, the Eeyore effect. This is the Eeyore effect. Eeyores are realists, they say. Now, you may know somebody who is an Eeyore, like 24/7 Eeyore. And they will call themselves a realist. And there is nothing but doom and gloom that comes out of their mouth. Do you know people like this? I do too. I do too. If there's a sunny day, they'll notice the one cloud. If it's, there's just nothing that can ever be okay with these people. And they call themselves realists, and they call me a mamby-pamby. Or you're unrealistic, Shell. You can't be that happy all the time. Well, I choose happy. I do. It's a choice. I choose happy. I choose happy no matter what. Now, I have my days, of course. But they're not even days. They're moments. Maybe hours. But that's legitimately. I just choose happy. And I am not a realist. I know what's going on in the world. But I choose not to focus on the negative. I choose to focus on the possibility. I think people are talking a lot about what's going on in this country right now. And I think that something new is seeking to emerge, and it's working hard to get here fast. And that's why this is going on. That's Shell's version of the truth. I really, truly believe that. The universe uses the quickest way possible so that love and joy and peace can emerge. And sometimes that emergence is really messy. It has to be if it's a falling away of things that no longer serve. And those things have been in place for a long time. It has to be a little messy when those go away. I think something great is happening. I truly believe that, and I am a realist. And the more negative reality that one nurtures and creates, the more of it one has. So again, are we cultivating positive thoughts, positive experiences as our life expression? Or are we being Eeyore and cultivating negative ones? We get to have whatever we choose, and we choose our thoughts. The more negative reality that one nurtures and creates, the more of it that one has. The Eeyore effect. I'm suggesting that you get to know your inner Eeyore. Get to know that voice. I know that voice. It is the voice of the realist. And so why do we have it? It's here to serve this body temple. The voice of the realist keeps this body temple out of danger. But it creates danger or hurt or pain, right? But it creates things that aren't necessarily there in order to keep us safe. Form safe. The soul is always safe. The soul is always safe. But we've all been hurt. We've had our feelings hurt. We've been hurt by circumstances. We've been physically hurt. That's the inner Eeyore voice. Don't go there. You know what'll happen. And it creates a negative scenario. It creates a negative story before anything even happens to prevent it from happening, to keep us safe. Unfortunately, it also keeps us from living full lives. That's what building this faith muscle is all about. It's about living a full life. So all these weeks, it's been cultivating tools so that we can go out there and fully express who we are in this world. When Cassie stepped up here this morning and sang, that was stepping out in faith. Faith that the voice would come out right. Faith that she'd remember the words and all this stuff. That was definitely stepping out in faith. And as a result, we get to see a fuller version of Cassie than we normally get to see. Yay! That's a beautiful thing. That's just one example. Where in your life is your inner Eeyore taking over? Where in your life are you being shut down, shoved down? Where in your life are you paralyzed because Eeyore's got the loud voice? So how can we walk hand in hand with Eeyore? That's the goal, right? How can we walk hand in hand with Eeyore? You're going to be surprised by my answer. I know it. Are you ready? Spiritual practices. Of course, spiritual practices. This is the way that we connect with our soul. This is the way that we connect with God within. Spiritual practice. This is what builds a faith muscle. Spiritual practices. Like what, Shell? Number one spiritual practice that we should be engaging in is prayer. Number one spiritual practice we should be engaging in, prayer. From the time that I started in practitioner studies, I've been walking in prayer all the time. I notice my thought, I reverse my thought, and I say a prayer. That's what prayer is. It's speaking in affirmative terms. Prayer for us, the religious scientists, is not down on your knees, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. No. It's knowing the truth about a situation. Prayer does not change a situation. Prayer changes us. It changes the way we view the world. It changes something in us. It quiets down our inner Eeyore so that we can see the truth about a situation. Now, I have on my slide, which folks at home can't see, insert shameless self-promo here. We have 2 classes starting in October. One is Essential Earnest, and it starts next Monday. I'll be sending out emails about that probably tomorrow. It starts Monday. It's going to be held here at the center. It's being facilitated by Reverend David Jennings. Yay! He's an awesome teacher. And when we were talking about the class, he said, there were 2 that are on the practitioner path for folks. So we have several people on the practitioner path right now. Yay! And this is the next class for them. If you've had foundations, this is the next class for you too. And when I was talking to Reverend David, I said, well, you could teach this class or that class. And he said, I want to teach Essential Earnest. I said, great. And he goes, well, Essentially Earnest is all about prayer. And I want to teach about prayer, every aspect from every angle as we're studying this, so that people can be grounded in this thing called prayer. Fabulous. If you've had foundations, consider joining Reverend David on Monday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. here at the center. He's doing it live. He likes doing classes live so you can see faces. Okay? I am starting a class, I think the third week of October. I'm horrible with dates. But it's one of the new classes that Home Office has just released, and it's on spiritual practices. And so it's an overview of all kinds of spiritual practice. So it includes prayer, it includes meditation, it includes visioning, it includes all kinds of things. It's a 5-week class. It's a very short class. And so 5 weeks worth, and I will be teaching that, I believe, on Tuesday nights. I have not fully decided yet, but I believe on Tuesday nights. So watch for the promos on there, because both those classes cover how to pray. And that is my number one solution for working with our inner ear. Pray. Pray. That's what changing your thinking looks like. Prayer. Absolutely. 2, journal. Love journaling. A lot of people say I can't journal. I developed a wonderful journaling practice through The Artist Way. In The Artist Way, you have to journal 3 pages every day. And she said, if you're not used to journaling, write your grocery list. Just mind dump. Just get things out of your mind so that they get out of your way and you can actually function in the world. Great practice, and I've had it ever since. And so I journal every day. Maybe in working with the inner Eeyore, maybe you've come to recognize Eeyore's voice. You hear you going down a negative path. Maybe start to ask Eeyore some questions. It actually is kind of useful to give that voice a name. And Eeyore is a terrific name. So ask Eeyore, what are you here to teach me? And just let the answer come. Why do you keep leading me down this path, Eeyore? Let the answer come. How can I positively navigate this, Eeyore? Let the answer come. Journaling can be really, really useful in this manner, where you have a dialogue with an aspect of yourself that you're working on. Maybe, like I say, give it a name like Eeyore, but give voice to it. And it'll create greater understanding of what's going on inside you right now and help you move through it. Journal. Number 3, meditate. Meditate. If your inner Eeyore is going nuts, back kicking, and you know how they, you can see the donkey doing this. If your inner Eeyore is trying to take over, consider meditation. Now, a lot of people have told me, I can't sit there and do this. You know what? Neither can I. The best way for me to meditate is actually out in nature and walking. Walking, there is such a thing as walking meditation. We have a meditation class here. Barbara often facilitates it, Barbara Gilfil, and it's her favorite thing to teach for good reason. Meditation is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool. And when I say meditate, don't think I mean Om, because I don't. Meditation can look a lot of different ways. If you struggle with meditation, I have a few suggestions. Number 1, consider walking meditation out in nature. In other words, your eyes are open, you're walking, and just the idea is to notice what's going on around you. And you will find, as you notice the trees and the plants and the animals and the grass and the everything, the thoughts stop. That's meditation. It is. Actually, the thoughts never stop, but they change. They quiet. Your mind quiets, and you can feel your mind going, That's meditation. You might try some guided meditations. If you're good at visualizing things, or you find that your inner Eeyore has been bringing up all kinds of negative images in your brain, maybe go online and find a guided meditation that will create different images. That could prove very, very helpful and calm that inner Eeyore. But so those are my top 3 ways to walk hand in hand with Eeyore. Number 1, pray. Number 2, just went right out of my brain, and it's right there. Journal. Thank you. Somebody was paying attention. Number 3, meditate. Okay? Spiritual practices. They will help you coexist with your inner Eeyore. Of course, the question on everybody's mind is, well, what would, oh, it's so nice to hear that said to me instead of saying it. Thank you. What would Ernest Holmes say? This reading, or this piece of writing is from a pamphlet. We have this wonderful Science of Mind archive. I don't know if you're familiar, if I've ever mentioned it before. The SOM archive is awesome. It's got bunches. I mean, this guy was a prolific writer. Science of Mind textbook is just where it began. Some of the books that we have out is just where it began. Pamphlet after pamphlet after pamphlet on all these different things. And this one is called 10 Ideas That Make a Difference. And the section is called Life is a Game. Life is a game. The full life demands that we have faith in the goodness of life. We unconsciously have such a faith more than we realize in the matter-of-fact business of everyday living. But all too often, we fail to use it definitely in connection with certain situations that we encounter. Of necessity, we must develop the use of a positive faith. Faith in the integrity of life itself, with a capital L there. And expect good to happen to us. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Expect good to happen to us. We need to approach each day with a positive attitude, with a faith that life is fundamentally good and our experience of it will be good. We should expect to find new opportunities and work with others in harmony. If we recognize our relationship with God, we will know that we will be rightly guided in all we do and will be successful in all of our undertakings. We will know that life that flows in and through us keeps us vital and healthy. On the other hand, if we start the day with a negative attitude, we will not automatically be separating ourselves from any good that might be available. On the other hand, if we start the day with a negative attitude, will we not automatically be separating ourselves from any good that might be available to us? That's the thing about living from our inner Eeyore. If we are living from our inner Eeyore, we are separating ourselves from all of the good that's available to us, right where we are. Positive thoughts are really a great help to all who consider them and will enable us to establish a right relationship between ourselves and the law of life. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that marvelous? So, how about we take this into prayer? So settling into the right here, right now, knowing together there is a power and a presence, and it is right where we are. In fact, it is what we are. We are God's Spirit, life made manifest. And we are living in a pool of God stuff. That means right where we are, good is. Right where we are, joy is. Right where we are, prosperity of all kinds is, abundance is. These are all aspects of God. So the aspects of each one of us and the world that we live in. All ways and in all ways. So this is what I know for sure. I know that we have been introduced, perhaps, to our inner Eeyore today. That we've given voice to that aspect of ourself that is here to protect us from things that may bring us harm. Ideas, people, conditions that might bring us harm. And I know that we are having a new conversation with Eeyore moving forward from today. It is one where that aspect of us that is positive, that is power-filled, that is God, presences itself with Eeyore and chooses the direction that we are walking in. We are making conscious choices from the positive, productive, peace-filled, joy-filled part of ourselves. There is a space of allowing for more and more and more good that has been cultivated here, and it is wide open with prosperity and possibilities, thinking, seeing, hearing, and believing. There's not a single soul watching this live video or stream that has not been affected and changed for the better for being here today. And for this, I am very, very grateful. It is done in mind, it is done in form. And I anchor this by saying, and so it is. So be it. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Shell, for that beautiful, wonderful message. Very inspiring. So, good morning. My name is Karen Gidley. I am licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, and I'm also secretary on the Leadership Council. And today, I'd like to tell you about all the ways that we can distribute your generous offerings and donations to our center. Every quarter, a different organization is selected to benefit from your donation of money or tithe, which is distributed weekly. All are local. Those organizations are, number one, Cape Coral Caring Center that distributes food and clothing to the needy. Number two, Hearts and Homes for the Veterans. Number three, Cape Coral Police Children's Program. And then number four, Human Trafficking Prevention. Your gifts allow us to continue to provide to the Cape Coral community. A percentage of your tithe is used for operational expenses as well. There are many ways to donate. You can text to 239-230-3820. You can use the donate button on our website, cslcapecoral.org. You can use PayPal at cslcapecoral.org. And you can mail a check to the Center for Spiritual Living. And that is, the address is 406 Southeast 24th Avenue, Cape Coral, Florida, 33990. You can set up an automatic withdrawal from your bank, either weekly or monthly. And also, when you're shopping on Amazon, go to smile.amazon.com and select CSL Cape Coral as your charity. A portion of your purchase will be sent to the center. So as you leave today, you will see that we have blue buckets, containers on either side of the exit door back here. And our logo is on those, for you can deposit cash or checks into those containers. So now please join me with this affirmation. Today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of this center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. Okay, now please join me in this affirmation. A divine love through me blesses me, all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. And if you would, place your hand over your heart or hold your donation in your hand, and I speak this word of blessing over the tithe. With appreciation and love, we accept these offerings and gifts. Divine love through us blesses each gift and each giver. We know that all that has been given here circulated to do great works, both within our spiritual CSL community, Cape Coral, and the world at large. Standing in gratitude, I release these words. So please join me in saying, and so it is. All right.
Am I on? I'm on. Sorry. So as I was saying before, I'm just putting the finishing touches on the promos for the class signups. So they will be coming to your inbox in your email. Also look for them on Facebook Meetup. We will have them there as well with information and a sign-up page. Midweek tune-up continues Wednesdays at noon. We did it outside this past week. It worked marginally okay. But we're going to keep working on it. We're going to get it working well because it's beautiful out there. It's beautiful to sit under those oaks. We're going to try a different location this week, so maybe it's a little less loud, and we'll be able to hear the folks at home a little bit better. And but we're going to keep working on it. So midweek tune-up Wednesdays at noon outside here at the center and online as well. As you're exiting today, we're going to I'll be by the door, and be sure to bump elbows with me as you're on your way out so that we can have a greeting there. And now it's time to stand in the light. When we stand in the light, we stand knowing the truth about a situation, stand knowing or speaking what we want to see in a situation. This is a good time to go to battle maybe with your inner Eeyore. What would you like to see in your life? I am standing in the light for Fran, knowing she is whole, perfect, and complete. I am standing in the light for Vicki Jennings and her mom and father, knowing that they are whole, perfect, and complete as well. If you are online, please put what you are standing in the light for in the comments on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can write us a prayer request on our website, cslcapecoral.org. And I am standing in the light for all the unspoken prayers. So I know that right here and right now there is a healing revealing going on, that each and every one of these requests, whether spoken, written, or thought, has been received by the one mind, the one power, the one presence, and good and more good is the order of the day. There is something special, wonderful, and terrific emerging because we got together today, and for this and so much more, I am so incredibly grateful and thankful. In this gratitude, I release my word into law and know it is done. So I invite you to anchor this with me by saying, and so it is.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let peace, we let the peace wash over next week.